When the news dropped that George is back for season 2 of Georgie and Mandy's first marriage, fans had one immediate reaction. Wait, how? Because if you followed Young Sheldon, you know George Cooper Sr.'s story already reached its heartbreaking conclusion. His death was one of the most emotionally defining events in the Cooper family timeline. It shaped Sheldon, it hardened Mary, and it forced Georgie to grow up faster than he was ready to. So bringing George back in season 2 isn't just a cameo. It's a shock. But here's why that shock might be exactly what this show needs. First, let's address the obvious. George's return doesn't rewrite canon. The timeline still stands. Which means this reunion likely happens through flashbacks, dream sequences, or memory-driven storytelling. And that creative choice matters. Because instead of undoing the past, it forces Georgie to confront it. Season 1 of Georgie and Mandy's first marriage focused heavily on Georgie proving himself in the present, as a husband, as a father, as a provider. But there's been a noticeable absence in how he processes the past. Specifically, how he processes losing his dad. George Sr., played memorably in Young Sheldon, was far from perfect. He made mistakes. He had flaws. But he also loved his kids deeply, even when he struggled to express it the right way. And for Georgie, that relationship was complicated but meaningful. Georgie isn't Sheldon. He didn't intellectualize his grief. He internalized it. So if season 2 brings George back through memory or reflection, it could be the emotional turning point Georgie's character arc has been building toward. Because for all his attempts to act confident and capable, Georgie is still a young man who lost his father earlier than he should have. A family reunion episode featuring George gives the show a chance to explore something deeper than marital tension. It opens the door to legacy. Is Georgie repeating his father's patterns? Is he overcorrecting? Is he afraid of becoming him, or afraid he never will? That's the emotional weight this return carries. There's also something poetic about this happening in a show centered on Georgie's marriage. George Sr.'s own marriage to Mary had its struggles. They loved each other, but communication failures and unmet expectations created cracks over time. Georgie now stands in a similar position. Young, stressed, financially pressured, and desperate to prove himself. Seeing his father again, even in a memory, could force him to reflect on what kind of husband he wants to be. And that reflection could either strengthen his marriage with Mandy or expose the cracks we already know exist from future canon. Because, let's not forget, The Big Bang Theory establishes that Georgie's first marriage doesn't last forever. That shadow hangs over everything. So a reunion with George doesn't just tug at heartstrings. It adds tragic irony. Maybe Georgie is trying so hard not to repeat his father's mistakes that he's missing the bigger picture. Or maybe he's finally understanding that his father wasn't just the flawed man he remembered. He was someone doing his best under pressure. That shift in perspective could be huge. Beyond the emotional symbolism, there's also the audience impact. George Sr.'s final episodes in Young Sheldon were some of the most talked about and emotionally resonant moments in the entire franchise. Bringing him back reminds viewers of that shared history. It reconnects the spin-off to its roots in a powerful way. But this isn't just about nostalgia. It's about emotional inheritance. Georgie stepping into adulthood means grappling with the example his father set, both the good and the bad. A reunion episode gives him space to confront unresolved feelings, regrets, and maybe even guilt. Did he say enough? Did he understand his dad before he was gone? Those are questions many people carry in real life. And that's where this show thrives, in grounded, relatable emotion. If handled well, George's return won't feel like a gimmick. It'll feel like closure. Or maybe not full closure, but movement. Because sometimes growing up isn't about escaping your parent's shadow. It's about understanding it. Season 2 had to raise the emotional stakes beyond simple sitcom misunderstandings. Bringing George back does exactly that. It forces Georgie to look backward so he can move forward. And if this family reunion truly delivers, it won't just be a shocking twist. It'll be the emotional core of the season.